Okay, today we're on word problems day 2, and then just let's do a little recap. If a system of equations word problem is a word problem where we need 2 equations to get the answer. For number 1 and the money problems from yesterday, we're going to follow this strategy. The first equation will describe the number of objects, and the second equation will describe the value or money. Okay, so yesterday we did the coin problems, where one problem talked about how many coins there were, and then the second one talked about their value. Number 1 is very similar, but it's not about coins, it's about tickets. Okay, so bus fares. So we have bus fares from Chicago to Indianapolis are $30 for first class and $25 for tourist class. That's kind of talking about the value. So that's a value, that's a value. And then it says if the bus had 52 passengers, well, that one's talking about the number of items, number of tickets, has a total of 1,360. That is also a value, right? Okay, so think back to the coin problem. This one's very similar. Our first equation is about how many tickets were sold, how many bus fares were sold. So, first of all, should we say, do you guys want to call first class F and tourist class T? Should we define our variables? So first class we're going to call F, and tourist class we're going to call T. Or you guys can use X and Y, whatever you like. Okay, so how many tickets were sold? How many passengers were there? Well, there's 52. So that means that if you add the first class plus the tourist class, there will be 52 passengers sold. That's kind of like 52 coins. There's 52 items. Now, the second equation is going to be about what the value is, how much each one's worth. Well, first class is worth 30 bucks, so we're going to have 30F plus tourist tickets are worth 25 bucks, so we're going to have 25T, and then that's going to equal the total value. Total value collected was $1,360. Okay, so I hope you guys see the similarity to the coin problems here for number 1. And then we're not going to solve that. We'll worry about solving tomorrow. Okay, now number 2 is a different type. It's still about value and tickets, but I call this one a similar situation problem. Similar situation problem. And you'll see why this one's a little bit different. Okay, so first let's define our variables. What is the price of one adult ticket? Do you guys want that to be A? And then the price of one student ticket, why don't we call that S? But again, X and Y could have been fine too. All right, so I want you guys to read the problem, and we're going to set up our system. But in this one, it's not going to be money and value. It's going to be situation 1 and situation 2. This one we have similar situations, and you'll see how to set these up. These are actually pretty easy to set up. Okay, so let's look at day 1. On the first day of ticket sales, the school sold 10 adult tickets, so it's going to be 10A, plus 2 student tickets, so 2S, and then the total is $98. So that's situation 1. 10 adult, 2 student, 98 bucks. And then there's going to be a similar situation, and that's going to be for day 2. So on the second day, we sold 2 adult tickets, so 2A, plus 10 student tickets, so 10S, And then what's the total for day 2? That was $154. Okay, so this is a different type of word problem. When you have similar situations, you set up your system that way. And we'll solve this tomorrow. But if you guys want to start thinking about it, I would probably do elimination. And if I want to get rid of the A's, I might think about multiplying in a -5 to get a -10 to cancel with the +10. But we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, so that's it for today. Another money and number problem, and then a new one with similar situations. So if you guys want to stop, go ahead. I'm going to put the stop sign here, but I'll do one more in case anybody feels like they need a little more practice. Okay, so number 3. So we got to figure out, is this a similar situation or is this a number and value problem? So why don't you guys read it? Shayna and Rob each improved their yards by planting grass sod and geraniums. They bought their supplies from the same store. All right, so then we have a story about Shayna, what she bought. And then we have a similar story about Rob and what he bought. So this to me seems like one of those similar situation problems. Okay, so the first equation will be about Shayna. So we'll model hers. And then the second equation will be about Rob. Okay, but before we do this, should we figure out what our variables stand for? It says, what is the cost of 1 square foot of grass sod? So the grass sod, do you guys want to call that X? And then what is the cost of 1 geranium? Why don't we call that Y? But you guys can pick whatever you want. Okay, let's see if you guys can model Shayna's story. So this would be a great time to pause and try it. So Shayna spent $100 on 2 square feet of grass sod, so 2x, and 14 geraniums, so plus 14y. And then her total cost was $100. Okay, so that's Shayna's story. And then let's do the same thing for Rob's similar situation. Rob, he bought 12 square feet of grass sod, so 12x, plus he bought 7 geraniums, so 7y, and then how much total money did Rob spend? Rob spent $138. So that's the setup for the system. And then tomorrow we'll talk about solving it. Oh, if you guys want, we can do one more. Why not? Let's set up number 4. Okay, so this one's actually super duper easy. When they're talking about 2 numbers, why don't we just call them X and Y? So I think you guys can do this without me. How would you guys write for the first equation, what does difference mean? How would you write the difference of these 2 numbers is 2? Well, difference means subtract. So the first one would be x minus y equals 2. Isn't that easy? Difference means subtract. And then the second equation says the word sum. The sum of the 2 numbers is 24. So to write that equation, it's going to be x plus y equals 24. And then very easy to do elimination to solve this one. Okay, so tomorrow we'll talk about more of setting up these different types of word problems with systems. Thanks for watching.